WNBA All-Stars defeating Team USA.
Yeah. Um See, this was actually hey NBA. This is what we call a competitive All-Star game. Not 211 to 187 or whatever the hell the score of the this year's NBA All-Star game was. You could tell these these women actually like wanted to compete and like win for their respective teams. It's not just like, oh, let's just lollygag and have fun. And no, we actually want to win.
Well, not only that, but I think this year was a special occasion because I think obviously, some people felt like Caitlin Clark got snubbed from the Olympic team. Some people felt like Angel Reese got snubbed from the Olympic team. And, they obviously played well in the game. And I also think that from the WNBA All Star perspective, view it as a tune up for Team USA as they obviously get ready to compete in the Olympics this week.
Yeah. Um, it. I wonder how they're gonna do it moving forward because obviously, like, we're not competing in the Olympics every year. So, can you do some type of format like this? Or is this just like a one off type situation? That's
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming again because everybody's so new to the WNBA that you would probably know this, but it's a two-part question. In the past, had they done before, during a non-Olympic year, had they done like East versus West?
I think so. I'd have to go back and look at some of the past All Star games.
I'm also wondering if they would consider doing the LeBron Steph, the LeBron Giannis type draft the NBA had done prior to going back to East versus West this year.
Yeah, they could. Um, my guess would be if they do that, the first two captains would most likely be Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, we talked about this before, and I feel the same thing about the WNBA. Again, it's nothing against Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark. The fact of the matter is, though, I don't think fan voting should be involved in All Star games. I really think fan voting, you have biases towards players. I have biases towards players. I really think that should be reserved to the coaching aspect and the GMs and the executives of the league. And the WNBA is smaller as well, obviously. There's only, what, 8 teams right now, I believe? It
No,
could be wrong
there's
on that.
like
Is
no,
it
there's more.
12?
Um,
I know 8 make the playoffs.
yeah, there. I'll double check, but it's at least 12.
Okay. Because I know 8 make the playoffs, and obviously they're going to be expanding to 2 more to this year. But um, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the WNBA All Star Game out of maybe the MLB All Star Game was a little more competitive, but you're right. I agree with you. This is how the NBA should do their All Star Game.
And by the way, yes, it is 12
Yeah,
teams in the WNBA. Next year it's going to be 13, and I believe it's the year after they'll expand to 14.
and again with that, 18, 14. It really doesn't matter. The fact there's going to be more players in the league, I think it's good for the sport. It's going to be good expansion. And so they may have to tweak the All Star game format. But regardless, you can't really mail it in for an All Star game when people are just starting to watch your product.
Right. So before we move on from WNBA, we might have talked about this once before, but we know that like the WNBA kind of competes with Major League Baseball in in terms of the summer. Do you think that right now the WNBA could pass Major League Baseball in terms of like popularity, however you want to define that?
In the future, potentially a decade down the line, sure. And again, it depends on the impact that, in my opinion, Caitlin Clark will have on the WNBA. Will her reach continue to grow the sport? And will it continue to just be a LeBron James like effect? Or will it be, not saying that she's not going to grow the game, but will there be some sort of cap on it where it's not as exponentially growing as it did this year? And does the MLB get their stars together? And do they have, a better marketing? I thought this year's MLB All Star Game was probably one of the best they've done. in terms of marketing and availability and pace of play. So I think it's possible, but I also think it's going to be very difficult to pull off.
Right. I would when I say right now, maybe that was a little too literal, but like it feels like from conversations I've had, from our conversations on this show, it feels like more people are paying attention to the WNBA rather than MLB.
Well, I've said this. I do think the WNBA has done a good job at being a little more national, and baseball has gone the opposite way, which is baseball is very regional. It's very hard to follow national baseball. I mean, there's a reason why tonight in our baseball topic we're talking only Cleveland Guardians. We're not talking Major League Baseball. Um, Baseball has done, I think, a very difficult job in trying to be a national sport for whatever reason. I don't know if it's more games, I don't know if it's more people in the sport, less involvement. I don't know what it is, but it's just become a very regional sport where unless you have a baseball team in your own town, you're not going to watch it.
I think part of the reason for that is because a lot of the stars play for the big boys like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, you know, whereas like in leagues such as the NHL, you have teams like Pittsburgh, Chicago. Yeah, they're some of the big boys, but they're not like New York, LA,
Well,
Boston.
well, I think the greatest example of that would be the National Football League. Every team feels like they have a star, and every team, no matter what market you're in, feels like you have a chance to win.
Yeah. Well, unless you're the Carolina Panthers.